Alright, so buckle up because this story is insane, and honestly, I still can't believe I lived through it and came out on top. Back when I was 21, I was fresh out of college, working some dead-end job in a tiny border town in Arizona. Nothing exciting, just the usual barista gig. My roommate Joey was a total screw-up with a serious heroin problem, but somehow always dragged me into his messes. One night, he came home stinking of piss and cigarettes, looking more beaten down than usual. "Dude, I fucked up. Like, big time," he slurred, pacing the tiny apartment. Turns out Joey had crossed paths with some hardcore cartel guys who were smuggling through town. They had borrowed money from him for a fix, and when he couldn't pay them back the next day, they came knocking. More like threatening. I tried to steer clear, but Joey begged me to help. Said if I could pull off one favor, they wouldn't kill him. I was young, dumb, and didn't think it through. I agreed to help. The favor? I had to deliver a package, just a small box across town, to some abandoned warehouse by the border. Joey insisted it was just harmless cigarettes. The streets were dead quiet. As I got closer to the warehouse, I realized something horrible. 2 men in heavy military gear were waiting, obviously cartel enforcers. As I walked up, one of them barked in Spanish. I shook and told them I was just the delivery boy for Joey. They eyed me like I was a rat. Then they told me to open the box. Inside were bricks upon bricks of cocaine, racked so tightly I could barely believe my eyes. I wanted to vomit. This wasn't cigarettes or some harmless thing. It was a full cartel shipment. One of the men froze for a second, then actually smiled, showing gold teeth. "You're not just a kid after all," he said. I realized then I was screwed if I stayed, but I also had a spark of reckless courage. I asked, "Look, what happens if I just take this back to Joey?" "You'll kill him, right?" The bigger guy shrugged. "If he owes us, yes." I swallowed hard and said, "Maybe I can clear his debt." They chuckled, but before I could react, the smaller guy suddenly pulled a Glock from his waistband and shoved it into my side. "We want you to be useful." Long story short, the cartel made me do their dirty work for months. Transport cash, stash drugs, deliver messages under threat of torture. I saw things I can't unseat. People getting gutted in alleyways. All the while, Joey was spiraling deeper, like he was the one chained to those monsters. Then one day, I got fed up. I'd made a decent stash of cash by being useful, and somehow avoided getting killed or arrested, but realized I wanted out. So here's the twist. I used the cash I secretly saved and bought a burner phone with a burner SIM. I started feeding info to a rival cartel who had been at war with my captors for years. Info about shipments, routes, names. One quiet night, just when I thought I was screwed for good, that rival cartel swooped in full force. The streets exploded with gunfire. Over 20 cartel members from my side were killed or arrested in a massive sting that the DEA piggybacked on. I got immunity by flipping info and using my burner phone data, escaped to a witness protection program in a different state, and left that nightmare behind. Joey? Well, he vanished shortly after the firefight. Last I heard, a mole hole in Juarez swallowed him whole, either dead or deep in rehab. I still think about that box every day, the one night that small delivery plunged me into hell. But you know what? I got my revenge. Not by guns, but by outsmarting the worst drug cartel I've ever encountered. They thought they owned me. They didn't. If you're ever wondering how close to hell you've been, just remember sometimes the only way to survive is to become the devil's informant and hope karma bites back.